Welcome to An Open Book with Harry Pacheco, where our guests choose to be an open book, sharing real impactful stories that are making a difference. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of Open Book with Harry Pacheco. Today, we are blessed to have a special guest. He is a director, an author, and just an all-around creative person. His name is Paul Skidmore, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, Paul, what we do here in Open Book is we want to know exactly where you're from, who you are, and what influenced you to be where you are now.
Okay. All right. Well, as you said, I'm a director and an author.
Yep.
Film is my passion and my background, but I've done storytelling since I was a kid. I grew up in East Tennessee, in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yep.
And from, the time I was 5 or 6, Mom was getting me in like the storytelling contest at the local library,
Oh.
So I'd go over there after school and sit with all the other kids during story time or whatever, but then they would have storytelling contests. And so Mom would help me work on my little story, which is usually some joke out of the back of like a Boy Scout magazine or something. But I remember that I won one year in my age group. I think I was the only one in my age group, but I still won.
Yeah.
So I had that trophy, but I've been doing storytelling for a long time, and I've loved it. I was born in 1978, so early 80s. I'm a little kid, and this is the time when you've got Ghostbusters and Back to the Future and Indiana Jones and Star Wars and Superman and I just was really fascinated with all of that kind of stuff. And as you get older, you realize, okay, well, I can't really be Superman. I can't be Indiana Jones, but I can tell stories like that, and I can create worlds like that and have fun still. And so I got really into the making of films, particularly like special effects and models and all that.
Yeah.
There was this 1 hour special that they ran on HBO constantly of the making of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And it was like all the creatures and the models and the blue screen and optical printing and everything. And I got so into that. And then when I was in high school, Jurassic Park came out, Terminator 2 came out, and I think Willow or Legend used some like morphing technology or something, right? Mm-hmm. And so I got really into like the computer stuff. I was one of the first people that I knew that had a computer. I've got more computing power in my watch now than I had in that computer, But I was doing whatever I could with it, pictures or video or whatever, And then I had a friend that came over. He was a couple years ahead of me, and he was in the architecture program at UT. And he came over to my house one day when he was home, and he was like, "Oh, I got to show you this." And he had like 45 floppy disks, and he was like, for like 3 hours, we're feeding him into the computer. And at the end of it, I had 3D Studio Max. It's like this, and so I learned some very basic like 3D stuff, 3D text, and so I was a far cry from Terminator 2 or Jurassic Park, but I was learning the basics of that kind of stuff, And so eventually I went to film school and learned the trade and learned how to do it. Learned from some instructors that were in the business and knew not just like how to do things, but also like the way you do it, and sort of the business and everything. And I really learned a lot there. I learned a lot about myself there also. Made a lot of good friends there. And I just knew I did not want to go to Los Angeles and do that thing.
Yeah.
Even though that's what inspired me as a kid. I just knew that I kind of had a different worldview, I think. And I had seen enough of the business to understand that, a lot of the work that you do in the industry, it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
Somebody else is paying for it. It's not yours.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a way to work. It's worked well for a lot of people, but I just knew some of the things that I wanted to do. I don't know. I kind of wanted to maybe say some tough or unpopular things. And I didn't want an industry standing over my shoulder saying, you don't get to say that because this doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of faced with a choice at the end of film school do I go and work my way up the Hollywood thing or whatever?
Yeah.
Or do I try some kind of independent route? Which nowadays, there's a lot. We all have a movie studio in our pocket now.
Yeah.
But in 90, I graduated in 2002 from the film school.
Yeah.
So, like making a movie on your own at that time was a big deal. It was an expensive endeavor.
Yeah.
But I felt like I knew, and I did. I had a good education, so I knew I could do it on my own if I had to. But so I thought either way, it's going to take a long time and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Because I'm either going to have to work my way up in the system, or I'm going to have to make a bunch of small things and kind of build until I get to kind of do what I want.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it's been that. It's been, I graduated film school 23 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm now finishing my first feature film from a short story that I wrote.
Wow.
And it's very cool. But it'd be real cool. It'd be a lot cooler when it's done. We got a couple months left before we're finished, but we're so close to the end. And it's been tough. And there's been, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to a bunch of other things. You know? And so my life looks a lot different from a lot of my friends, either my friends that didn't go to film school and are from here, just have sort of a normal life, or my friends who went to LA and have done really well out there. My life just looks different than both of those. And it's been tough sometimes, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
How was the upbringing like? I know we fast forward to college and your kind of like passion, but like high school, things of that nature. Did you guys have a program there that you were interested in? Like, how there's like like our school, for example, what high school we had a production. You get to do production or art or things of that nature.
They have that now.
Yeah.
No, not when I was there.
Okay.
There was nobody there doing that. I was, my brother had kind of learned how to do some things from a little company in town.
Yeah.
He did drama stuff, and the lady that did that worked at this thing, and he interned there. Anyway, so from him, I learned how to use 2 VCRs to edit.
Yeah.
That's what I was editing on, was pushing play on this VHS and hitting record on this VHS.
Yeah.
And all my scenes had little fuzzy marks between every cut or whatever, because that's what I had to work with. And I didn't cut my first digital thing until I had a summer job, like 2 years, the second summer after I graduated high school. That was the first time I actually cut something digitally.
Yeah.
And I had to buy like a $1,200 external giant box that was almost as big as my computer.
Yeah.
And it was total of 8 gigabytes, of space, which is, now you can go get an 8 gigabyte thumb drive at Walgreens for $4 or whatever,
Yeah.
But at that time it was like, it was a big deal. And there wasn't anybody really there that knew how to do that. And there's Gen X. My brother is like my brother's 7 years older than me, so he's like kind of squarely Gen X, right? Yeah. And then there's the millennials that come after that, right? Well, there's this little sort of crossover generation from like 78 to 82, which is where I am. And they call us the Zennials, with the X, right? Zennials, or they call us the Goonie generation, because we were the same age as the Goonie kids when the movie came out, And we were the kids who played outside until the lights came on.
Yeah.
And we rode our bikes around like the kids in Stranger Things, right?
Yeah. Easier to trick or treat.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew the other kids in the neighborhood and stuff like that. But we also, my freshman year of high school, I had a computer. I had an AOL account before there was such a thing as the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
I remember typing in the names of companies.com and there just being nothing.
Yeah.
And so we really bridged that transition. My brother got a master's degree with a word processor. I mean, he was using a typewriter through college, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm making 3D graphics, in my bedroom, right? So it was we just sort of bridged this thing where we remember this old way of things, but we see where everything is going and have this new way of stuff. And so because of that, we had to learn everything by doing it.
Yeah.
We just had to do it.
Yeah.
There was nobody that was going to help me. There was nobody that was going to tell me. Thankfully, my family, we had a camcorder.
Yeah.
So I just picked it up and filmed things. And it was all horrible. It was all terrible. Totally unwatchable.
Yeah.
But I learned what it is and how to do it. It got me into film school where I learned like the real way to do things.
So in my culture, right, you're either a nurse, doctor, lawyer. This is what your parents and their parents told them. When you told your parents you wanted to be a director, they probably seen that passion in you in such an early age. How did they feel about your career, and how was the support from them?
That's a great question. My parents have been absolutely the number one biggest supporter in my life in every way. You know, when everything else in life lets you down at some point, you know, my family, especially my parents and God, are the only two things I can count on.
Absolutely.
And so they brought me up to be creative. They brought me up to explore and do things. They brought me up to try things, but also to finish it out.
Yeah.
I hate community basketball. Oh, okay, well, you got to finish out the season. You never have to do it again, but you're going. So, you know, they brought me up to be held accountable by other people and how to learn. You know, they brought me up good character and good morals and integrity, and they modeled that. You know, I saw that in my mom getting up early and reading her King James Bible that she's had since a little girl. She still reads today. I saw that in my dad and in the work ethic that he had at his job, and the way the people that worked under him loved him and were sad to see him go when he retired, you know. And then my brother, my older brother, getting to look up to him, and he's such a great guy, somebody to be a hero and model after, you know. And one thing that they said over and over again when my brother and I were growing up, they said it to both of us. They said, "Do what you love, and the money will come."
Absolutely.
You know, and still waiting on that, but but she's, you know, she was right. Like when I freelance, and I right now I'm kind of focused on the movie, but like I gotta eat and live in a house and stuff. Yeah. So I do freelance things, and when I work, I make a good rate, you know, because I know something that I know how to do a thing at a certain level that a lot of people don't know how to do. Yeah. And
you perfected your craft.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say perfected, but I try to do things at a high level. Yeah. You know, and not everything needs to be done at a high level, and so I'm not the right guy for everybody, you know. Yeah. But if you need something,
I just like don't know what to do.
Particularly emotional. Yeah. A lot of people can get a nice.
So what I'm hearing is that you're feeling stuck.
It's not hard anymore. That used to be hard, but that's not as hard anymore.
I just don't know what to do.
What is still very difficult is to make something that really has an emotional impact. Yeah. And that's something that I think you know, God's gifted me with. Absolutely. So I have, you know, I think talent is made up of gifting and skill. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So gifting is just sort of what you're born with. I can't take any credit for any of the gifts that I have because I didn't work on them. You know, I didn't do anything to achieve them or acquire them. Yeah. And then skill is something that you work at. Yeah. You know? So I've seen a lot of people who are gifted. Yeah. That don't work on it as a skill. Yeah. And they don't do anything with it. Yeah. And I see other people who are terrible at something. Yeah. But they work on it as a skill, and now they're really great. Yeah. I remember. Who's the redheaded singer guy? Oh gosh, what's his name? Ed Sheeran. Thank you. Yeah. Ed Sheeran went on like the Tonight Show or whatever. And he had a tape from like 8th grade of him singing. It was horrible. It was awful. You know, if you heard that kid, you would never go, "Oh, he's going to be something someday." You're like, try accounting, you know, something, right? You know, just like
get your CPA. Horrible. Yeah.
But clearly he's worked at it, and that guy can sing stuff that I can't. I couldn't sing. I wouldn't even sing alone in the shower. Like I can't. I don't. You know, this is the way that he sings now. It's because he wanted it and he worked for it. You know, and so somebody that doesn't have as much gifting but really works on the skill is going to go a lot farther than somebody with gifting alone. Yeah. And so I've tried to recognize where's my gifting and how can I also work on that as a skill, because that's going to be the multiplier there. You know.
So, Paul, you said two things that kind of made you who you are and that you could depend on 100%. Yeah. And you mentioned your parents, but you mentioned God. Yes. How huge is your faith?
How huge is my faith?
Yeah, through a career, or I would say a lot of Hollywood producers or directors, it's hard to keep a relationship with God when you get so many things that are tempting you and things of that nature. Sure. And and just what thrives in the world is more kind of like we're kind of selling our soul in some ways because of it benefits and profits our pockets.
Yeah.
Does that play a big part on you not going to typically, directors? I'm going to be a director. I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to make it big. Was that part of your choice to be like, hey, no, I'm going to be a director, but I'm going to do it here in my way? Now, was that something that you were like instilled and said, yeah, I'm going to do it this way, and God's going to, I trust in the Lord, right? I trust in God's plan, and kind of did it that way. Was that the reason, because of your relationship with God?
That was probably the biggest factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it was about worldview.
Yeah.
Right. And it was about being able to construct something on top of that worldview.
Yeah.
And I felt like I would be able to do that better on my own than with somebody else's money.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
And there was part of it that was about my own weakness too.
Yeah.
Because I saw the things that I dealt with at film school.
Yeah.
Where I'm surrounded by a lot of people that didn't grow up the way that I did. And just a side note, what we were just talking about before, my heart went out to a lot of them because a lot of them were there very much against their family's wishes.
Yeah.
My family was very supportive of it. They
Yeah.
didn't really understand it all the time and still don't sometimes. But, I went to school with a lot of people who their parents almost basically cut them off because they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine what that was like. But I saw, the challenges that I dealt with personally, there, and foresaw challenges I probably would have had if I'd gone out to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have done well.
Yeah.
In certain areas, but like I can fail in Murfreesboro as easily as I can fail out there.
Right.
Temptation does not live in one place.
It does not. Right.
Yeah. I've very much failed in a lot of ways here. So my weakness is my weakness. That doesn't change where I go.
Yeah.
But by staying here also, though, I have stayed close to things that will keep me connected to that. So
Yeah.
I've been farther away from things that will connect me to making movies in the industry and those kinds of things. But I have been closer to my family and people that have a similar worldview as me that can keep me better grounded and better connected to that.
So we had different guests on our podcast, and one of our guests was a music producer. He worked for, big names. And we asked him what his top 5 producers were. Now I'm going to ask you the question, since you are a director of film.
Sure.
Top 10 film directors.
Oh, top 10?
No, top 5. Sorry.
I'm
Top 5.
not sure I named 10 off the spot, but yeah, well, I'd love to give you a big pretentious list or something of these really obscure films or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, man, I loved Ghostbusters. I loved Back to the Future. I love E.T.
Yeah.
And
so George Lucas.
Lucas is a great producer and world builder. I'm not sure I would listen as one of the greatest directors necessarily, but Star Wars is especially the first 6.
Yeah.
There's his story,
Yeah.
and it's obviously changed culture
Yes.
in many ways.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for that. And by the way, I'm directing now, but like I went into the producing program at school.
Oh, nice.
Because number one, there's only 10 spots in the directing program. Pretty sure I wasn't going to get one. But the other thing was I knew that I didn't want to go to Los Angeles. And so if I was going to make things here in Tennessee, like I knew I needed to know how to do it
Yeah.
on my own.
Yeah.
It's like, if I know how to do it,
Yeah.
and if I know how to get the insurance and the permits and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and do the budgeting and scheduling, if I know how to do that, then I can make whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'll just have to figure that part out.
Yeah.
But then I can practice my directing.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So I thought a lot about that in film school. I looked at George Lucas as a producer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a really amazing thing that he's got going on there. Especially, honestly, it takes a lot of humility to have this huge film like Star Wars, and then with Empire Strikes Back, say I'm going to let Irvin Kershner direct this and tell this story.
Right.
He's the best storyteller for this. It's still going to be my film. It's still going to be my story, my characters.
Huge humility.
But I'm going to let him take the reins and direct the actors and the camera and be the visual storyteller. I loved especially the early Spielberg films, and it's been interesting to watch his evolution as I've grown up. Probably toward the top of the list would be Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
A lot of his films I just love. As a kid, it was Back to the Future, and it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Castaway is one of my favorite films of all time.
You got to be up there with that. I mean, so you got to be that.
I'm like living.
That's amazing.
That Hanks didn't win the Oscar for Best Actor that year.
I was like, can you believe he made that a movie? Like, I'm like, you got to be that talented to direct that movie.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And Contact also is a great film that deals with some issues of faith in an interesting way. So that was somebody that I would. The other thing that I like about Zemeckis is with things like with Forrest Gump, there was a whole bunch of like behind the scenes stuff with Forrest Gump and like all the CG and into this old footage and all that stuff. Which as a computer nerd, I loved all that stuff. And I wanted to learn how to do it.
When that film came out, I probably played that 100 times on surround sound.
Yeah.
It was just me, a bunch of our friends. We kind of grew up in I'm 77, you're 78. Yeah. We grew up in that same neighborhood where you had that friend that had like the surround sound, but he was like that rich friend.
Yep.
So we would play that and just hear everything, especially on some of the army scenes or whatever he was doing, and it was just we never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Even when Terminator 2 came out.
Yep.
We were taken back, and that was filmed in where I'm from, Fremont, California. Yeah. And so that whole place was blocked off, and we were just amazed, like just to even be a part of that. So James Cameron was he was awesome for delivering that film.
For sure. Yeah, he's made some big stuff for sure.
Yep. So you're at 4.
I'm at 4. That's 4. Goodness. Yeah. Okay, so some of my favorite films: Hunt for Red October, Die Hard, Thomas Crown Affair. Even I love.
Yeah.
These are all by John McTiernan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the stories that he chooses.
Yeah.
I love the way that he tells them.
Yeah.
Even like Die Hard 3, which you would think, like, as a franchise wears on, is like, is this getting better or worse?
It got better.
But Die Hard 3 was really good.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2 is fun, I guess. But it's like, I've always said Die Hard 2 is everything that's good about Die Hard 1, but nothing that's great.
Yeah.
So, like, you have plot and story. Plot is what happens.
Yeah.
Story is how the main character feels about what happens and reacts to what happens and changes because of what happens. It's like a character arc,
Yeah.
And Die Hard 2 is very much the similar plot.
Yeah.
But it had no story, really. It was like, I didn't really care about anybody. I enjoyed watching everything blow up. But that was kind of the TBS TV edit is hilarious also because there's just there's all these F word laced tirades that have to be cut out.
Yeah.
And so they just replaced it with an actor who sounds nothing like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely hilarious. It's on YouTube. You can find it. But yeah, Thomas Crown Affair is really good. Hunt for Red October is just I love all of that one and the 2 Harrison Ford Jack Ryan stories, but Hunt for Red October is so well done, so well directed. It's got such a great feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about a film that's going to be out in a couple months or so. And you filmed it here. Mm-hmm. I'm gathering that was a tight budget as far as but I seen a lot of the clips on YouTube. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
You're tackling a huge epidemic in this country.
Yeah.
children's book author for anti-bullying books. So I could relate. Some of my books that I have wrote deal with, because I know somebody that committed suicide because they were bullied. And so that gave me a spark to be able to write those books for people to be able to say, hey, don't bully themselves, and to be able to teach acceptance in that way, and to stick up for somebody that's getting bullied, right? And if I could change it by saving one person's life, I think I did my job.
Sure.
So I commend you on this film that's coming out.
Thank you.
That's dealing with a huge epidemic of suicide. And you wrote this, right?
Correct.
You wrote it, you directed it. Where does that come from?
So I'm going to go back just a little bit to a previous conversation that we were having. When I decided I'm not going to go do the business thing, wanting to make your own movie in the year 2002 was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
Now it's like, this was an incredible idea.
Yeah.
But who would have known then? I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. But in part of saying no to the way you ought to do it,
Yeah.
you're sort of, I was saying, okay, God, I think you want me to have this skill.
Thank you for
I think
listening.
you want me to tell stories in this way.
Yeah.
I think that's why I went through all this 4 years of film school, whatever. I think that's why
Yeah.
we did this. I think this is what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And so I want to go where you want me to go, and I want to tell the stories that you want me to tell.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to get like overly churchy with it or whatever, but like the idea of prophecy, little p prophecy,
Yeah.
not like thus saith the Lord, but like,
Yeah.
but like there's a message
Yeah.
about some idea, and God has something to say about it, and because this person over here hasn't read this, I want to be able to give it to them in a form that makes them go, okay, well, let me check that out, because
Yeah.
that I haven't heard, and that I want to, that appeals to me. I want to see what that is, right? It's parables. It's Jesus telling parables.
Yeah.
That's why he does that, right?
Yeah.
And and so I've always seen my role as a filmmaker essentially as a parable teller,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so this story originally came about as a short story. Really, my dad's a fly fisherman.
Yeah.
And he was a guide with a program that's kind of like depicted in the book, just for like a half a day or something. And he
Yeah.
came home with a 2-minute story that he told us over dinner, and that was
Yeah.
it. Right? But when I decided that I wanted to like write several short stories, I was like, for some reason, I just kept kind of thinking about that. And I thought, oh, maybe I can do something with that. And I sat down to just kind of make a parable of it. It's really just trying to fill out enough pages to be able to sell a paperback of some short stories. But as I was writing it, I was thinking about when Dad took me fly fishing, and as a young kid, when we'd go fishing, he'd give me a can of corn and a rod and put me on a big rock.
Yeah.
And I'd sit there for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Which now as an adult looking back, I think it's probably just kind of keep me out of his way for, for a few hours, maybe. I don't know. But when you go fly fishing, you're out in the river, and the water's coming at you, and it's cold, and it's forceful, you know.
Yeah.
And you're walking upstream, and especially in the East Tennessee, Tellico River, you're walking uphill, you're walking up the mountain. You know? And it's tough.
Yeah.
And my dad's been doing it. He's actually up there right now. He's been doing it, 60, 70 years or something. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time, and he knows where all the little holes are and everything. But he does not stick around any place long. Even the guys that he fish with get irritated with him, because he'll pop something a couple of times. And he's like, hey, if nothing's biting, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And so it was just constant movement.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing that I remembered was whatever's coming at you, like you keep moving.
Yeah.
And I thought this is a good parable for the tough times in my life.
It's huge.
When I, just was like, all this stuff is coming at me. What do I do? Well, you got to kind of keep moving through it.
Yeah.
And, so I set out to kind of write a story about that. And in order to do that, I developed a character who had decided to stop moving.
Wow.
And so that's when it became about suicide, which is not something that I necessarily had a lot of firsthand knowledge about. I wouldn't say I've been what most people would consider suicidal, but I've laid in bed and woken up and stared at the ceiling and thought, if today is going to be like the last 100 days, I don't really want to do that much longer. Like, I'm not going to do anything, but, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not really about wanting to check out. That's about, I've created a life for myself I don't want to live. So
Right. Right.
Something's got to change, you know.
Yeah.
So, so I try to draw on that and kind of turn the volume up on that a little bit. And I do have people with firsthand experience in my life.
Yeah.
That know about that. And once I realized kind of what I was writing, well, another thing happened. As I was writing it, I had two acquaintances that lost people very close to them to suicide.
Yeah.
One of them was an actress that had just, like a month or two previous, done like a one-woman show about suicide prevention and depression.
Yeah.
And she just succumbed to it, you know. And another one, I don't know the circumstances, but she was a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that it was probably some kind of online bullying or something like that. You know, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But anyway, so when I saw that those happened like in the same week,
yeah,
and I'm in the middle of writing this book, I had to kind of push it away for a minute and go, this is like taking a thimble to the ocean. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is such an important thing. But then after thinking about it some more a couple of weeks, I thought, no, that's why this is important, because nobody's talking about this. And
absolutely.
Everybody gets so isolated, and we've got to bring this to the surface, or it's going to keep getting worse. It's just going to fester and fester and fester. So then when I went back to work on it, and sort of that second phase, I wasn't writing a story anymore. I felt now, okay, this is the torch I've been handed for right now.
Yeah.
And I've got to maintain this light. I've got to maintain this flame.
Yeah.
So so I did have friends that had some firsthand experience one way or another, and one of them had lost her father to suicide, and so she was able to tell me about what it was like before and after, and the people that get left behind, and all the mixed emotions and everything that come with that. I had two friends that had attempted and lived, thank God, and they were able to tell me about those experiences. And, and they were very gracious in reading early copies of the story and giving me feedback. I'm super thankful for. And then I had another friend that was a counselor.
Yeah.
And had counseled a lot of people through those times.
Yeah.
And she gave me a lot of good tips that I tried to work into some of the other characters, because I wanted the characters in the book to also model appropriate ways to respond, so that somebody reading it goes, oh, that's a good way to deal with that, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, so I was just really gracious for their feedback. And it was at that point, before the book is even done, that I'm going, this thing has a life of its own. There's something to this, you know. And then when I put it out, people really responded to it right away. One friend of mine, again, kind of an acquaintance, but she said, oh, I've read this book. And we start talking about it, and she starts telling me about like things kind of personal in her life that kind of line up with the book. But I realized she felt comfortable doing that because since I had written about it, I at least knew what she was talking about. And I thought, maybe she doesn't have anybody else to talk about this with, you know? And then I felt okay to reciprocate some personal things too. We weren't like being deeply personal, but it was more than you would share in the hallway, passing somebody in the hallway, you know?
Yeah.
And when we parted ways, I was like, how do I get everybody to have that conversation? I don't even care if they read the book, if they do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's when we developed 5 Coffees in a Book, which is just a little 5-week discussion guide around the short story. You can read it and talk about it with somebody, sit down face to face.
Yeah.
Because we're losing that, you know?
Yeah.
We're the most connected we've ever been.
Right.
And we're the most isolated we've ever been.
Absolutely.
You know? And we've lost the art of hospitality and sitting down face to face and having a conversation.
Yeah.
I love technology more than most people. I use all of it. I love it all.
Yeah.
Right? But I love this. I need this. I need this a lot, you know? And I want to help other people find this again, especially, you know, I look at like my brother's kids and now they're having kids, and it's like they're growing up in this world where they don't remember, you know, playing out in the woods until mom rings the dinner bell to come home or whatever. Like everything's always been digital and connected and coming at you 24/7 and instant access. And I just want to kind of help them reclaim reclaim that time where they could just sort of like sit and think about something or sit and talk to somebody.
Well, that triggered me a little bit of what you talked about the communication part. A little story, and then we'll get back to what we're saying. My daughter had a theater. She was in a theater, a play. It was at like a Christian school, private school, auditorium style. I sat on the front, and I forgot my phone. I was like, oh man, and I can't walk out. You know how everybody's just packed.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not walking out. Okay. So the theater starts. I sit there. I'm like, oh man, I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm like the only guy that doesn't have a bone. I don't know what compelled me, but I just turned back just to see like the lighting. I don't know if it was the lighting. But I looked as they were doing this elaborate play, by the way. It's a really expensive Christian school. I turn around, everybody, and I'm not over exaggerating, everybody was just glued on their phone instead of watching the theater. And it just was like, and I'm trying to see if they're filming, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, I would give them benefit of the doubt. They're probably filming their kid, right? And there would be like one or two people filming, but you're like, majority, everybody was on their phone. I don't know if they were watching reels or whatever they were doing. Right. Anyways, it just made me realize this artist that drew like how we're chained to our phones and chained to social media, but it ain't so social. Right. So that triggered me what you said, and I'm teaching my kids now to be more communicative. So to have that communication skill. So I have conversations with them. I'm like, how was your day? Oh, really? That's what you did. Oh, that's cool. How did that make you feel? Like things of that nature, to feel that connection and that energy from that person, because we are ultimately that charges our own battery, right? Human interaction.
Sure.
Obviously, through our physical is, we can't help but getting tired because of it being a long day or strenuous at work. But having that human connection does revitalize some of that. And so I kind of, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, I think we do need that. So getting back to your film, you talked about what drove you to write it and what it was, and having all these people in your life that experience suicide and kind of drew from that. It's interesting that your dad did fly fishing. I read a little bit about that. It helps people with PTSD. Yeah. A great thing for them. So teaching them and seeing this film for myself and watching the clip that you were going to Tennessee and seeing all the views that you were doing, I'm like, I wouldn't know this was Tennessee. There was a van scene where they were driving going towards the thing. I'm like, how did he capture that? Yeah. It was like, wide lens going over. Like, was he on a helicopter? Yeah. Like how is he catching all these?
Our composer had a drone, so we did a couple of
drone
days.
It was beautiful, and
you know for sure.
What I loved about it from the clips. What I loved about it, there was not a lot of dialogue, but there was. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in the relationship with the bearded fella, I don't know his name, Roy, with Carrie, you just can't buy that.
Yeah, so Carrie plays the character of Gwen. Gwen's the main character. And so how this all came to be, COVID happened in March. I just happened to be at my parents' when it started. Yeah. And I just ended up staying there because there wasn't anything happening here. The first thing that people don't want to do is get together in a small room and film stuff when there's a disease like that going around. So I was like, okay, well, I got no work. So I stayed there. And And then a medical training place here in town that I'd done some work for, they said, we can't do any training.
Yeah.
So we're going to revamp all of our educational stuff. Will you come back and film some things? And so that was fun because a lot of the freelance stuff that I do is more like documentary styles, like fundraising videos or whatever. And so to come and do that, it wasn't like House or Grey's Anatomy or anything, but it was like, it was fun. We set up little scenes and got to light it and have some fun with it,
Yeah.
And so a girl I go to church with is involved in theater around town. And she's like, our family's on vacation that week, but here's the list of people and you'll find somebody, whatever. So Carrie was one of those people, and the whole time we're shooting, I'm thinking, man, she's like the exact look as I wrote Gwen. She kind of looks like her, and her performance is real naturalistic.
Yeah.
And we're getting along really great and laughing a lot and stuff, and she's the right age and all that stuff. So it's like, I think I gave her a copy of the book. It's like a thank you for being an actress or whatever, but I really wanted her to read it because I was like, I want her to get involved in the story.
Yeah.
And so that was like in May. So then a few months later, it was August 17th, 2020.
Yeah.
Sitting in my house with my buddy Noah that helps me with everything. I can't do anything without Noah. And so I said, I think we can make a movie of this story.
Yeah.
Because there's not but like 4 or 5 people on it. It's all outside during the day. And there's no exploding helicopters or robots or anything, I think we can do this. I've got the camera, the lenses, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think we could do this. But the biggest thing is, because it's this fly fishing, I would want to do it over in East Tennessee, where it's just sort of what I think of when I think of fly fishing because of my dad. But to do that so remote, there's no cell service or anything. You're talking about moving everybody out there for like 3 weeks and just busting it out, and you have to pay everybody to do that. And I've tried to do a budget. I just can't come up with anything less than like $150,000, maybe $100,000.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure I can raise that right now,
Yeah.
And I was like, but, if you kind of take all the labor out, if we can find people that are also passionate about this story and are willing to do it, evenings, weekends, whatever, if there was some place to film it around here.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could do it. I don't know. It was kind of like that. And Noah said, I know we can do it. I know we can.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure we'd get crew. I wasn't sure we'd find cast. He said, no, I know we can do it.
Yeah.
And I needed that confidence. I didn't have it. And Noah had it.
Yeah.
He said, we can do it. I was like, okay. Yeah. So we left right then to go look at a river that he knew of in McMinn County that he thought would work. And so we went down there and scouted it out. And I thought, okay, I think this can work.
Yeah.
Because what I definitely did not want to do was shoot it in Stones River.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's probably nasty. It's in the middle of town. They're supposed to be out remote in the middle of whatever.
Yeah. It's in back of a gas station or something.
Right, exactly. So we, that was August 17th that I had this conversation with Noah. I think we can do this.
Yeah.
September 16th, 29 days later, it's our first day of production.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's fast.
Very fast. In that less than a month, we'd raised enough money to get wardrobe and props and gas for the vehicles and feed everybody. We fed everybody and everything. But and I sent the character descriptions to Carrie, and I said, "Hey, will you send this to all of your theater people? I just want to see kind of what her reaction is." She said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And like 15 minutes later, she calls me. She's like, "I want to read for this part of Gwen." I was like, "Yes, good." So I said,
"That's the seeds were planted."
Exactly. I was like, "Well, if you want to." So, and she's like, "I have a perfect person to play Roy too." Her friend Phil Moat. And so she sent me his picture, and I was like, "This looks like the guy that's been in my head writing this book,"
Wow.
And so I could talk for hours about all the little miracles that happened along the way, but it was one of these things where it all came together so quickly. So August 17th, I'm saying I think we can do this. By November 20th, it's shot.
Yeah,
shot the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because Carrie, she was working as the nurse or whatever. She's like, most of these I have to put in like a minimum of like 2 days a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can make my own schedule.
Yeah.
And Phil's retired, so And as far as crew, it was mostly just me and Noah. And then our first day, our art director was going to come out.
Yeah.
She primarily was she made a few things for us, but she was mostly just sort of organizing things. And I didn't need her there every day, but it was the first day.
Yeah.
So when we scheduled it, she was like, "Oh, I've already got a shoot booked for that day." But she said, "I don't want to leave you hanging, so I've got a PA.
Yeah.
She's great. I worked with her on another thing.
Yeah.
And she'll work hard for you. Her name's Caitlin." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." So show up the first day, meet Caitlin.
Yeah.
Never met her before. She didn't know us. She was great. She was asking me about the production, asking me about the story. While we're shooting and stuff, she's over reading the script, in between things. And she loved how chill it was. I was like, well, it is the first day. Like, I'm just doing the short scene on the first day. We got to make sure the equipment works, and we haven't done any rehearsals or anything,
Yeah.
But she said, can I come back and work on some more days?
Yeah.
I was like, yes. You just need to understand, I can't pay you. Like,
right.
I don't have any money. Like, I can't even give you gas money coming from Nashville, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, I just really like the story, and I really like the subject matter. And I just really
wow.
I was like, I'll send you the schedule. Any days you want to work, you can.
Yeah.
Out of our 18 days, she worked 16 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. It blew me away. And one of the days that she didn't work in the middle was because she said, I have to move. She said, I'm moving that day. I can't be there. So no problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so we're there in the next to last day of production, her last day.
Yeah.
And we're eating breakfast before we get started. And she keeps talking. She's telling stories. And she keeps mentioning Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville this, Louisville that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you talking about Louisville? She's like, that's where I live now.
So she was driving from Louisville, Kentucky?
I said, when you moved to a different state? She said, yeah, you did not know that? I said, oh, how would I know that?
Yeah.
She was just moving to a new apartment or something. I
Yeah.
didn't know. Yeah, she was driving down like 2 hours.
Wow.
And then working a 12-hour day. Not a single complaint ever, not once. Working hard all day and going above and beyond. And then when the day was over, she was either crashing on a friend's couch or turning around driving back home. And we had no idea until that last day. I was like, Caitlin. So I'm indebted to her for life, you know. But so that was really remarkable. But most days it was me and Noah and Caitlin, and Carrie and Phil.
Wow.
We shot the whole thing out of the back of my Subaru Outback. It was not a big production. Even my first year of film class, like they put us in groups of 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had a crew of 3 almost every day.
So I don't want to give out a lot of the film.
Sure.
But I love that scene where she's underwater.
Yeah.
How in the world did you guys capture that?
Well, we filmed that underwater. That's how we did that.
No, it was some James Bond stuff.
We shot the film, and if you read the book, there's several moments like that where she kind of feels underwater, sort of related to the title, "The Darkness Rolled Over Her," But that opening scene specifically, we shot it. We shot some stuff in the bedroom, and we shot some stuff where it's like raining in the room, and so Carrie's trying to act, and I'm spraying her in the face with water. It's a great time, but. We got it, and I cut it together, and I was like, it's not enough. We got to do something. Yeah. My process has always been, write like you have no budget. Yeah. And then, as you're a producer coming in, now be a producer like you have no budget. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Figure out how much can I cut out, Yeah. And, but if you write like you have no budget, or like you have unlimited budget, then you will come up with things that you can then do some smaller version of that are still better than the nothing you would have done previously, right? Right. I'll shoot for the stars, you'll land on the moon kind of thing. So I wanted, in my mind's eye, I had several sort of underwater things that I wanted to do, but the only one that I thought really would be worth all the time and effort was for that opening scene. It's like, it just needs something bigger here, And so we did some reshoots in April of 21. Found a heated pool that Carrie found for us. They had lights in it, so we could use the LED lights.
It was a great scene.
It turned out really, really great and added the exact impact that it needed. And we're actually going to be releasing soon, Lord willing, that the first 2 minutes of the movie is like the second trailer. Yeah. And it's almost all that underwater stuff.
And it captures like the feeling, that possibly what she was grabbing for, the pills or whatever that was, but you kind of feel that moment of like, wow, desperate.
Yeah, it's like the thing that you think is going to give you some safety is slipping through your hands.
Yes.
And you're just being pushed.
Like a life preserver type
can't
of.
Breathe.
Yeah. It was a great scene.
Yeah, thank you.
There was another scene that I loved. She was in the bathroom sitting on the floor.
Yep. Towards the end of the film,
yeah, I was like, wow, these are capturing moments. But it kind of triggered me. I don't know if you know this, but my wife passed away. My first wife passed away of cancer at a young age. She was my high school sweetheart.
I'm so sorry.
But me being bitter at God kind of left that relationship for a year. So I gone through that, reaching for that pills, but it was reaching for that drink. And so I identified with a lot of those scenes and was like, wow, that just captures a moment of like you captured what the inner workings to be alone is. Yeah, to feel like there's nothing left, you know? And so for the people that are going to watch this film later, it's just a really great film. How you could take these little moments that we don't treasure as much, right? That even sitting on the bathroom was powerful for me with she wasn't saying anything, but you captured the element of remembering when I threw up a fifth of vodka or whatever it is and sit on that bathroom floor and not have any dialogue and just be in your thoughts. And so that triggered me to be like, man, I remember that feeling.
Yeah, if you're sitting on a bathroom floor, things aren't going well. You know, you know what I mean? Nobody's like, I'm having a great time. I'm going to sit in the bathroom floor.
In the dark.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but you know, the film deals with some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But like suicide. But it's not really about suicide as you're pointing out, as you're getting to, right?
Yeah.
So here's the story for the people listening. Mm-hmm. Gwen's decided, the first frame of the film, she says, God kill me. She's decided she wants to die from the beginning. She's already decided that. That's the decision she's made. But she kind of wants to say goodbye to these friends. So she goes on this fly fishing retreat. Yeah. They pair her up with this old fly fisherman named Roy. Mm-hmm. And Roy's this charming old mountain dude. Yeah. And she has some new experiences with him. And she actually enjoys life that day. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that starts to challenge that decision a little bit. Yeah. And then there's another woman, a younger woman on the trip, and her name is Sam. Yeah. And so Gwen sees Sam and thinks, okay, that's where I was when I was her age. Yeah. And I don't want her to be where I am at my age. Yeah. But I don't know what to do about that. I got nothing left. Like, how do you encourage somebody when you don't have anything? You know? Right. And so the story really is this three-way tension between these things. And so it is about suicide, but it's about how we cope with feeling like we don't have a purpose, or how we cope with feeling like there's nothing that we can trust anymore, or how we cope with not understanding what's happening to us in life. Mm-hmm. You know, we never really focus on what Gwen's issues are and what brought her to this place, you know, because that's not really the focus of the story. Yeah. The focus of the story is what are these things that she comes in contact with that look like they could be a bridge out of that place. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's human relationship. Yeah. You know, it is the two sort of ostinatos of the story are keep moving, you know, out of that fly fishing thing. Yeah. And something that came out of the 5 Coffees in a Book thing that worked its way into the film is, I don't think these words are actually in the book. Yeah. But the idea certainly is. This idea that you only keep what you give away. Yeah. And I've in other places I've called this the economy of the intangible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if I have money and I give you money, I have less money. Yeah. If I have cake and I give you cake, I have less cake. Yeah. That's the economy of the tangible world. That's what most people are familiar with, and they don't understand that anything would work any different way if it haven't been modeled for them, if they haven't experienced it themselves. Yeah. Right? But the economy of the intangible is, if you need encouragement, and I encourage you, suddenly we're both encouraged out of nothing. It's like creation ex nihilo. It's like created out of nothing. Wow. You know, if you need love, even if I'm not feeling great, if I just show some love to you and you feel better, now I feel better for having made you feel better. Wow. Suddenly there's this love. Where did it come from? Right. And that's the economy of the intangibles. It's completely backwards. But until you experience that, until you have that understanding, you think it works the other way. How can I help Sam? I don't have anything to give her. Yeah. And it's like when you go to give her something, not only will you find it there to give her, but now you have a purpose that you didn't have before. Yeah. It gives you something. Yeah. Right? And so that's a big theme of the film, is that you only keep what you give away. Like, that's huge. In relationship, if you want to be interesting, be interested. Yeah. If you want to have friends, be a friend. Yeah. If you want to be loved, love people.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you need encouragement, you need to encourage other people.
Yeah.
A tough thing that I feel like we have to be honest about with people that are in these isolated times in their life, because most people in that space are waiting for someone to come along and show them love.
Yeah.
They're waiting for someone to come along and say, you matter, you're important.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
The tough thing that I have to say is that might not happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It just might not. You can't make somebody else love you. You can't make somebody else step up and tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the good news is that's not where you find that stuff anyway.
No.
You don't find the love when somebody gives it to you. You find it when you love somebody else.
It's
You don't find the encouragement when somebody
That's
brings
deep.
it to you. It might pacify for a little while.
Yeah.
But like if you really want to have encouragement in your life, be an encouraging person, and there'll be no end to it.
No.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and so the really great news is that there are 8 billion people out there who also are waiting on someone to come show them love and encouragement.
Yeah.
You got 8 billion reasons to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And if the first person doesn't respond to it, just move right on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and as you do that, your purpose will grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And suddenly you'll be doing that so much you won't even be thinking about whatever got you in that place to begin with.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's the story we're trying to tell with the film. That's the story that we're trying to tell with the book, with 5 copies in a book. And
we talked about the castaway moments and dare me say the Blair Witch Project. All these didn't have a lot of cast and didn't have a lot of, well, Blair Witch didn't have a lot of budget.
Yeah.
And you know Tom Hanks is always budgeted.
Sure.
So you were in that space of having a tough call and doing all these things, and God wanted you to make this film for all these people to step up like they did.
I hope so. I mean, so, you know, we shot this in 2020. It's currently the year of our Lord, 2025.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. I've gotten real discouraged at many points in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Now that I'm coming up on the end of it, I look back and go, there are several things that we desperately need to finish this film that literally had not been invented by the time I originally wanted to finish this.
Wow.
Technologies or whatever, you know. I mean, there's stuff coming along in the last few months that I think is going to help us finish some stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
So we're clear. You're editing all of this by yourself.
I wrote it. I directed it. I produced it. I shot it. I edited it. I did the sound design. I did the color grading. I'm doing some of the effects. Noah's doing the lion's share of the visual effects. And Noah's helped me. He's been my right hand throughout the whole process.
Well, I mean, it's going to be wow.
But
You
it's
did
a
this.
passion project.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. I didn't do the score. I'm a little bit of a musician, but not enough to write the score.
Yeah.
My friend Shane has done most of the score, and I've got some other people that have contributed some music, which music's fantastic. But that's really the only kind of major thing that I haven't had anything to do with.
This is going to be huge.
So yeah, and I had an editor years ago that did a lot of my short films and stuff, and he's got a full-time job now, so I just don't have access to him, especially for something like this. It's going to take this much time, and so I've had to learn some of the software all on my own, and it's been a crazy journey, but I'm a better man for it, I hope.
Yeah, Paul. I mean, you could take my word for it. I actually interviewed Carrie Kiridov, and
earlier today.
It was great, but we had a conversation after. For all of our guests, I take a week and study them, see what they have done. Yeah. And so I kind of Carrie Kiridov, and then I was like, she was in a film? Then we originally clicked on it, and I started getting interested. You could ask her out of after this. This is exactly what I said. I said, I watched all those clips, and it looks like a fantastic movie. Where can I buy it?
Yeah.
I mean, I looked on Amazon. I looked on Amazon Prime. I mean, you name it, I looked for it. I even tried to subscribe on IMDb or some other places, and she says, no, it's not out yet. Yeah. I don't know when it's coming out. I said, can you please tell me when it comes out, because I'm very interested. I can't get enough of the clips that I just have these clips that I'm watching. That's how I was so impressed of your work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think people are going to see what you're able to do with what we now know was just you.
Me and Noah.
Well, you and Noah.
Cannot leave Noah and Caitlin. Okay,
Yeah.
me, Noah, and Caitlin.
You and Noah and Caitlin. But for everything that you have done, it's going to be a fantastic movie. I think we're all excited to watch it.
No one's more excited to see the finished product than me.
Could you give us an ETA?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's we're so close to the end.
Yeah.
For once, and Carrie and Phil actually came over the other day. I wanted to film some like electronic press kit stuff.
Yeah.
And Caitlin was able to come down that same day. So it was
Wow.
me and Noah and Caitlin and Carrie and Phil. We all got to go to lunch together. It was
Yeah.
like getting the band back together, you know.
Yeah.
But after we ate lunch, we came back and I showed them some clips.
Yeah.
It was the first time that anybody besides me had seen it in 4K, fully colored, with temp effects in and 5.1 surround sound.
Right.
And so they were able to watch some big chunks of it. We didn't watch the whole thing, of course, but we just watched some chunks of
Yeah.
it. And that was really exciting because I was like, hey, this is almost done.
That's
Like,
pretty
this
good.
is, so I don't want to announce anything until we're done.
Absolutely.
But we're very close to the end, and I think there will be some announcements soon. So,
Paul, you're doing some great things.
well, I'm trying to be obedient, and I hope that I am.
Yeah.
And that's what I care about most.
So Paul, we're kind of towards our end of our interview, and here's what we like to do: is ask our guests, what are the top 5 things they're grateful for?
Oh, fantastic! First thing that I'm grateful for is that you asked me that, because that is my go-to question all the time.
Yeah.
So during COVID, a lot of people that typically work like in co-working spaces or collaborating, whatever, they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so this girl started a thing called Edit Party.
Yeah.
And it's just a Zoom call that's
Yeah.
muted. I mean, they play music sometimes, but you can't hear everybody talking. Whatever.
Yeah.
You see everybody working, and people can share their screen. The chat's open. How do I do this in After Effects or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I got to meet so many great creators and stuff.
Yeah.
In that time, but I get to every time I get on, I'm like, okay, what's everybody thankful for? To
Yeah.
the point that I think they're he's always asking me. So I'm kind of known for that question. So to have somebody ask me, it's like, oh, nobody ever asked me.
Yeah.
That's great. So that's the first thing I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Is that you would ask me. That's awesome. I'm grateful for my parents and my family that have been so supportive, for sure. I'm thankful for my talent. I'm thankful for the giftings that God has given me that I cannot take credit for. And I'm thankful for the skills that I've developed and the people that have helped me develop those, and the hard work, and sometimes at a cost,
Yeah.
to do those. But I'm thankful for it. This is an odd one, but I feel like I have to say it. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. 47, not married,
Yeah.
no girlfriend, whatever. No,
Yeah.
I mean, my life is a little chaos right
Yeah.
now, starving artist kind of thing. But it's like, as much as I want that in life,
Yeah.
I have a lot of freedom to do this and to do this kind of obedience that would be more difficult to do under other circumstances,
Yeah.
And so I'm sometimes solitude can be a burden, but
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for the solitude in this way, that I'm able to spend this time doing things that I think are in an obedient way. I hope they're in an obedient way.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for Noah and Caitlin,
Yeah.
and Carrie and Phil.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do any of it,
Yeah.
and I can never repay them for what they've given, because all 4 of them left it all on the screen.
Yeah.
They didn't hold anything back. Carrie, in particular, that scene of her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was our last day. It was just me, Noah, and Carrie on the last day.
Yeah.
Filming that stuff. And Noah's he's pulling focus out in the bedroom. So it's just me and Carrie,
Yeah.
and the camera right there in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she left nothing behind.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's 5 things. It should be at least 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's awesome. And we're going to wrap it up by saying, if there's one organization that you have to lift up right now that we all should check out, what would that be?
So my film, The Darkness Rolled Over Her, is a story of encouragement.
Yep.
Here in Murfreesboro, there is an organization called Barnabas Vision.
Yeah.
And I've done their video for the past 3 or 4 times. If they've had a video, I think I'm the one that's done it. And
Yeah.
I know David Coggin that runs Barnabas Vision, and he lives a life of encouraging other people. This thing we were talking about relationships.
Yeah.
They want to help people that are it's primarily like homelessness prevention and crisis relief. Oh, they're one bill away from getting evicted. Let's help them out. Or but they don't just step in with a handout. They come in with some classes and things, and a support network, and come to Bible study and meet some people that are going to help you, and give them maybe some things that they might be missing in life, whether they've come from another country or whether they're coming from a poor background or whatever it is, or just a hard home life or whatever. And he just interacts with so many people and is so encouraging to other people. And he's just really, it encourages me to watch how much he loves people. And they've been doing that, I think, 14 years now.
Wow.
And have just grown and grown. And they're a fantastic organization. And I hope that everybody in Murfreesboro knows about them and donates to them, because they need that to survive.
That is awesome. So, Paul, we're going to end this segment and this episode. But I just want to tell you that we're very blessed to have you, to get to know you, your upbringing. I took away a lot from this interview. Kind of make me a better communicator at home. I think that is a lost art, and that's something that I have to remind myself. So thank you for that. I know this movie that's coming out shortly, or whenever it does come out, it's going to be a great film. I think it's going to touch a lot of people that are either going through that or have somebody they know that it's very close to them that's going through that would help them through that. I think you're talented. I think you're incredibly creative.
Thank you.
And your talent's going to take you to places where God wants you to be, ultimately. And I think it's going to be awesome for him and also for you. So thank you for being on the show, Open Book with Harry Pacheco. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you for listening to another episode of Open Book with Harry Pacheco. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. We'll see you on the next one.